Sumi put down the sandwich he was eating, brushed his bangs aside, and said apologetically. It looks stuffy, doesn't it? No. I just wanted you to look presentable in front of my parents. I'm sorry. Brianna quickly shook her head. She didn't care about his appearance. She was worried that he might be hurt by her unnecessary words. She pulled out a fresh sandwich and held it out with an apologetic expression. Please, continue eating. Sumi stared blankly at his fiancée, Brianna. The only woman he trusted with his many secrets. In order to avoid his brothers, he had come to the capital and remained among the common people as inconspicuously as he could. He covered his face and deliberately opened a library close to the palace of the Western Duke, the person who was hated by his brothers. He had thought he would live quietly like this for the rest of his life. Without anyone knowing. Just like air. However, after he met the person he loved, he began to wonder if he had made the right decision. Should he have resisted? Was it cowardice to choose not to let anyone get hurt or die? What are you doing? Aren't you going to eat? Brianna pushed the sandwich forward further. He pushed his bangs up a little, revealing his straight forehead. This is how I'll go when I meet your parents. Brianna's eyes asked if he was really okay with that. Sumi took the sandwich she offered and nodded. Only then did a look of relief appear on her anxious face. By the way, next time I'll bring an acquaintance. Who? Marin Schwenz. She is the fiancée of His Excellency the Duke of the West. Sumi looked surprised and stopped eating again. Her hobby is reading too. She's like me, isn't that wonderful? I see. Brianna's eyes lit up as she talked about it. She was smart and kind. She recently attended the Marquis's tea party. As his beloved talked about that time, his mind was spinning in confusion. Even though he had settled near the Western Duke's palace, he had never expected to have a direct connection with the Western Duke. However, his fears were short-lived. When he heard Brianna speak in her voice full of excitement for the first time in a long while, he realized that his fears were unfounded. Are you listening to me? Of course. What happened to the Marquis's daughter? There are rumors that she was disowned by her family. That must be hard. It's difficult to give up the life of an aristocrat. Bitterness naturally appeared at the end of his words. I think so. However, rumors about Lady Audria spread throughout all the social circles. As expected of the Duke of the West. As Sumi said with a smile, Brianna looked at him with an expression of surprise. Do you know His Excellency? He spoke more cheerfully, deliberately smiling. Is there anyone in the Empire who doesn't know the Duke of the West? I suppose that's true. The two looked at each other, smiled, and continued talking. Meanwhile, at that time, the man hiding on the wall opposite the library quickly turned and ran away. He had been unsure for months, but this time he was certain. Office of the Crown Prince. Alkivit frowned and looked up from the invitation his butler had given him. There was a pile of presents stacked behind the smiling butler. Your Highness. Don't you intend to open them? The butler looked at the Crown Prince's expression and asked cautiously. The Crown Prince silently placed the invitation beside the desk with a dull expression. Letters and invitations seem to come more often these days. Many gifts arrive. The servant said with an excited expression. There was no noble who didn't know that the emperor was persecuting his master. Perhaps that was why the nobles had treated his master like a cold meal. But recently, gifts from nobles had begun to pour in constantly. He didn't know why, but he was proud that his master was finally being recognized in aristocratic society. I see. Send all the gifts back immediately. Pardon? But. Quickly. Very well. The butler answered hesitantly. He couldn't understand his master's thoughts at all. There were so many places in this neglected mansion that needed decorating. He was frustrated when asked to return all the gifts. Don't look like that and go. Yes. The butler bowed and left. Alkivit's expression deepened. The invitations and letters lying on the desk caught his attention. What exactly did the nobles want from him? Did they think he could bring down His Majesty the Emperor? Why would he have to bring down his own father? He felt like he was standing at the edge of a cliff with no end in sight. Even though he knew that if he took just one step, he would fall to his death, invisible hands were pushing him. His chest tightened and he found it difficult to breathe, so he looked away. Outside the window, he saw a pair of birds flying in the blue sky. They were free and graceful. In the Duke's living room, Marin happily chatted with Brianna. She had met her several times after the tea party and they got along very well. She was happy that she could have a conversation like this without any hesitation with a young lady her age. The place we're visiting today is the bookstore run by Brianna's fiancé? Yes. Brianna smiled shyly and nodded. It's wonderful that he runs a bookstore. As soon as those words left her mouth, the living room door opened. Who do you say is wonderful? Startled, Marin and Brianna turned their heads simultaneously toward the door. Gerard. With Marin's warning cry, Brianna quickly stood up and greeted the Duke. Greetings, Your Excellency the Duke. I am Brianna of House Malcolm. There's a guest here. Marin narrowed her eyes and looked at Gerard. She was sure he had heard everything, yet he was pretending not to know. So who is wonderful, and why, and in what way are they wonderful? Gerard's steady gaze fell on Marin. Marin let out an embarrassed laugh and looked at Brianna with an apologetic expression. Just a moment. Yes. Marin rushed to Gerard and pushed him out the living room door. Could you stop? Isn't that what you asked? Gerard narrowed his eyes and raised his eyebrows in dissatisfaction. When a man who was proud enough to show off to everyone started getting jealous, he became more childish than Peridot. I heard that Miss Malcolm's fiancé runs a bookstore. We're going there today. To that wonderful man? Gerard crossed his arms in front of his chest and grumbled openly. Gerard, aren't you busy? I'm not busy. She then spotted Olive stuck to the wall like a cicada. Marin pretended not to notice for his sake. We're leaving now, so why don't you go? I was about to leave. Where to? Marin looked at him with an uncertain expression. Where should I go? When Gerard asked childishly, Marin put her hands on her hips and spoke firmly. Don't follow me. Why? You're actually planning to follow me? When Marin looked at him with a bewildered expression, he exercised his right to remain silent with a sulky face. Marin narrowed her eyes and warned again. I'm serious, don't follow me. When Gerard saw her serious eyes, he took a step back. Fine. Humph. Marin sniffed and went back into the living room, pulling Brianna out with her. Brianna lowered her head as she passed the Duke, who was radiating a serious aura. All right, let's go now. Gerard was bid farewell with a silent gesture. Even after the two women left, Gerard remained standing there without moving. After a long moment, Gerard's lips opened. Olive. Olive, who had been standing quietly by the living room door, quickly moved to stand beside the Duke. Yes. Find out about this wonderful man. That's. While Olive hesitated, Gerard looked back with fierce eyes. Yes. Understood. Olive swallowed his advice that it would be better not to.